Welcome back, truth seekers and cosmic travelers, to another mind-bending episode of Well That's Interesting. I'm your host, Quaver TV, and today we're diving deep into the rabbit hole of hidden truths, global deceptions, and the threads that connect ancient prophecies to our modern world. Buckle up, because this ride is about to get bumpy. Picture this, a world where ancient wisdom collides with modern manipulation, where the strings of history are being plucked to play out a cosmic symphony, and where the battle between good and evil isn't just a story in an old book, but the headline of tomorrow's news. Sound far-fetched? Well, that's why we're here, to challenge the mainstream narrative and peek behind the curtain of reality. Today, we're exploring the compelling idea that much of what we've been told about our world, our history, and even our spirituality is built on a foundation of deception. We'll connect dots you never knew existed, uncover hidden truths, and maybe, just maybe, change the way you see the world around you. Let's start with something fundamental: names. Have you ever wondered why we use the name Jesus instead of Yeshua? This isn't just a matter of translation or cultural adaptation. It's a fundamental shift that goes against the very principles of Hebrew law. In Hebrew tradition, it's forbidden to change the sound or meaning of sacred names. The name carries the essence of the being it represents. By changing the name, you're essentially severing the connection to that essence. Yet, somehow, we've ended up with Jesus, a name that bears little resemblance to the original, Yeshua. But here's the kicker: Jesus isn't just a random mispronunciation. It's eerily similar to Esus, the name of a Celtic demon associated with human sacrifice. Coincidence? I think not. This isn't just linguistic drift, it's a deliberate obfuscation, a spiritual sleight of hand that's been pulled on billions of people. And it doesn't stop there. We casually throw around terms like God and Lord, thinking we're honoring the divine. But these aren't names, they're titles, and vague ones at that. The true name, Yahuwah, has been obscured, replaced by generic terms that could apply to any deity or demon. It's as if there's been a concerted effort to disconnect us from the power of the true, sacred names. Think about it: in any other context, we understand the importance of names. We name our children carefully, we build brand names worth billions, we even name our pets with thought and care. Yet when it comes to the most important name in existence, we've accepted a vague, watered-down substitute. This isn't just sloppy theology, it's spiritual warfare. Now, let's talk about our view of the cosmos. We've been fed a steady diet of science fiction and space exploration narratives. We dream of colonizing Mars, of finding life on distant planets. NASA's budget runs into the billions, private companies are racing to commercialize space travel, and our imaginations are captivated by the idea of a vast, explorable universe. But what if it's all an elaborate deception? What if the truth about our world is far different, and far more profound, than we've been led to believe? The Father, in his wisdom, described the earth as a closed plain set on pillars, separate from the waters of the heavens. He spoke of no life on other planets. This isn't some primitive cosmology that we've grown out of, it's a divine revelation about the nature of our reality. Think about it: why would an all-powerful creator make a vast universe full of uninhabited planets? Why would he place us on an insignificant speck in a corner of the galaxy? The biblical description of Earth as the center of creation, as a specially crafted habitat for humanity, makes far more sense. Yet here we are, pouring billions into space programs, chasing fantasies of extraterrestrial life. Could this be another layer of the great deception, drawing our eyes away from the truth of our enclosed, unique world? Are we being distracted from our true purpose, our true place in creation, by these cosmic wild goose chases? And speaking of deception, let's look at the technology that surrounds us. We're constantly bombarded by signals, waves, and broadcasts. Our world is encircled by towers that, when you look closely, bear an uncanny resemblance to the occult figure of Baphomet. These towers beam information directly into our homes, our cars, our very pockets. The average person is exposed to more information in a day than our ancestors were in a lifetime. But is this making us wiser, more connected to truth? Or is it overwhelming our senses, scrambling our ability to discern reality from fiction? These signals aren't just carrying cat videos and social media posts. They're carriers of ideologies, of subtle manipulations, of spiritual influences that we're barely aware of. Is it any wonder that so many seem to be under a sort of spell, disconnected from reality, maybe even possessed? The food we eat, the water we drink, it's all been tainted. Chemicals, preservatives, genetically modified organisms, our sustenance has become a slow-acting poison. Even the containers we store our food in leach harmful substances into what we consume. It's as if there's a concerted effort to weaken us physically, to make us more susceptible to the spiritual attacks that bombard us daily. But it gets worse. Have you noticed the recent spate of food recalls? It's happening with alarming frequency. On the surface, it might seem like a good thing, companies looking out for our safety. But what if there's a more sinister agenda at play? These recalls could be a double-edged sword, either trying to poison us with contaminated food or making us throw away perfectly good food out of fear. The result? We're left with less food and a growing sense of anxiety about what we can safely eat. It's psychological warfare on our dinner plates. Think about it, every time there's a recall, what happens? People rush to clear their shelves, often disposing of food that's perfectly safe. The media fans the flames of panic, and suddenly, we're all a little more dependent on the system, a little more fearful, a little more control. And it's not just about the food itself. These recalls are training us to rely on authorities for our safety, to distrust our own judgment, to live in a state of constant anxiety about the most basic act of survival, eating. It's a form of conditioning that goes far beyond nutrition. Mind control isn't just the stuff of conspiracy theories anymore. It's the air we breathe, the entertainment we consume, the social media we scroll through. Every aspect of our lives is being shaped and molded by unseen forces, nudging us towards a predetermined path. The algorithms that decide what news we see, what products we're offered, even who we're matched with on dating sites, these aren't neutral tools. They're shaping our perception of reality, our choices, our very identities. And who controls these algorithms? Who decides what information we're allowed to see, and what gets buried? Contrast this with life in the 1800s. People lived off the land, in harmony with nature's rhythms. Diseases were fewer, morals were higher. There was a connection to the earth, to the seasons, to the divine order of things. Was it perfect? No, but it was real, tangible, unmediated by screens and artificial intelligences. Our ancestors knew where their food came from because they grew it themselves. They understood the cycles of nature because their lives depended on it. They had a direct, unfiltered relationship with creation and, by extension, with the Creator. Today, we're seeing the results of this long-term spiritual assault. Many, and I dare say most, people are walking around in a state of spiritual bondage. Whether you call it demonic possession or simply the result of prolonged exposure to corrupting influences, the effect is the same. People are disconnected from their true selves, from nature, from the divine. Look around you. Do you see people fully alive, vibrant, connected to a higher purpose? Or do you see masses shuffling through life, addicted to their devices, enslaved to consumerism, numbed by entertainment and substances? The lights are on, but is anybody really home? Now, let's talk about one of the biggest players in this cosmic drama, the Roman Catholic Church. For centuries, this institution has wielded immense power, shaping the course of history and the beliefs of billions. But beneath the ornate facades and lofty proclamations lies a dark underbelly of corruption, hypocrisy, and unspeakable evil. The scandals of pedophilia within the church are just the tip of the iceberg. These horrific acts, perpetrated by those claiming to represent the divine, have scarred countless lives. But perhaps even more insidious is the systemic cover-up, the shuffling of guilty parties from one parish to another, the silencing of victims. It's a betrayal not just of human decency, but of the very teachings they claim to uphold. But here's where it gets really dark. These aren't just isolated incidents or the actions of a few bad apples. The sheer scale and systematic nature of these abuses suggests something far more sinister. Could it be that these horrific acts are part of a darker spiritual practice, hidden behind the veneer of religious piety? Throughout history, we see examples of powerful institutions engaging in ritual abuse, using the energy of innocence for their own dark purposes. The Catholic Church, with its elaborate rituals, its secret archives, its hidden power structures, is it really beyond the realm of possibility that there's more going on here than meets the eye? But the Church's manipulations go far beyond these modern scandals. Let's talk about time itself. Did you know that the Roman Catholic Church played a pivotal role in changing the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday? This wasn't just a minor scheduling adjustment. It was a fundamental shift away from the divine order established in Scripture. Think about the audacity of this move. The Sabbath was established by Yahweh himself, a cornerstone of creation. By changing the day, the church effectively placed its own authority above that of the Creator. And billions of people have followed along, never questioning why they're worshipping on a day that has no biblical foundation. And it gets even wilder. There's evidence to suggest that entire days have been removed from our calendar, at least 3 that we know of. Think about the implications of this. If true, it means that our entire concept of time has been manipulated. The Sabbath that we think falls on Saturday or Sunday could actually be on a Wednesday or some other day entirely. It's almost impossible to know for sure. This level of chronological manipulation is mind-boggling, and it raises serious questions about the power structures that have shaped our understanding of time itself. Who has the power to remove days from existence? And more importantly, why would they do it? By controlling the calendar, they control our understanding of prophecy, of sacred timing, of the very fabric of reality. It's a form of reality manipulation on a global scale. If you can control how people perceive and measure time, you can control their entire worldview. These actions aren't just about control in the here and now. They're about severing our connection to ancient wisdom, to the natural rhythms of the universe, to the divine order established at the beginning of time. It's a spiritual attack disguised as a bureaucratic adjustment. And let's not forget the other ways the church has inserted itself between humanity and the divine. The concept of priestly intercession, the idea that you need a human mediator to approach Yahuwah, the elaborate rituals and rules that complicate what should be a direct, personal relationship with our Creator, all of these serve to disempower individuals and centralize spiritual authority in the hands of a few. So, where does this leave us? In a world where the very names we use to call upon the divine have been corrupted, where our understanding of the cosmos has been skewed, where our food and technology are being used against us, and where even time itself may have been manipulated, what are we to do? First and foremost, we need to reconnect with the true names and nature of the divine. Yeshua, not Jesus. Yahuwah, not Lord or God. There's power in these names, power that has been deliberately obscured. By reclaiming these names, we're not just being linguistically accurate, we're tapping into a direct, unfiltered connection to the divine. We need to question the narratives we're being fed, about our world, about our place in the cosmos, about the nature of reality itself. The truth is out there, but it's hidden beneath layers of deception and distraction. Every time you hear a scientific consensus, or a historical fact, ask yourself, who benefits from me believing this? What if the opposite were true? We need to be mindful of the technology we use, the food we eat, the media we consume. Everything is a choice, and in these times, every choice has spiritual significance. Be intentional about what you allow into your body, your mind, and your spirit. Seek out natural foods, limit your exposure to electromagnetic radiation, cultivate periods of silence and disconnection from the digital world. Most importantly, we need to cultivate our connection to the divine, to nature, to our true selves. Meditation, prayer, time in nature, these aren't just nice-to-have luxuries. They're essential practices for maintaining our spiritual integrity in a world designed to corrupt it. By grounding ourselves in these timeless practices, we can begin to see through the illusions that surround us. As we wrap up this episode of, Well, That's Interesting, I want to leave you with this thought. What if everything you're experiencing, everything you're seeing in the world around you, is part of a grand deception that's been millennia in the making? What if, by questioning everything and reconnecting with ancient truths, we could break free from these manipulations? The journey to truth isn't easy. It requires courage, discernment, and a willingness to go against the crowd. But the alternative, remaining trapped in a web of lies and manipulation, is far worse. Every step towards truth, no matter how small, is a victory against the forces that seek to keep us in darkness. Remember, the fact that you're even considering these ideas means that you're already on the path to awakening. Trust that inner voice, that intuition that tells you there's more to reality than what we've been told. Keep seeking, keep questioning, keep pushing beyond the boundaries of conventional wisdom. Stay vigilant, stay questioning, and most of all, stay connected to the truth that resonates in your very soul. The powers that be may control the airwaves, the food supply, even the calendar, but they can never control the human spirit's yearning for truth and freedom. Until next time, this is Quaver TV, reminding you that the most interesting things in this world are often hidden in plain sight. Keep your eyes open, your mind sharp, and your spirit attuned to the whispers of truth that are all around us. The journey of awakening is just beginning, and you, dear listener, are on the front lines of this cosmic battle for truth. Stay strong, stay curious, and never stop seeking the reality behind the illusion.